Camille, belle, la moustache et la capuchon. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki takatiki. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patamilo, mila takatiki puletika. Camille, belle, la moustache et la capuchon.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and I'm back, baby, back after a long hiatus, and I'm ready to get going, get everything up and running, keep myself back in the game, just like I was supposed to. But homeschooling is a crap. Homeschooling is crazy, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna go on the topic of what's being talked about today. I come back, there's all the news going on right now. Come back. Big thing, George Preston Marshall statue is finally removed from in front of RFK Stadium. Now, of course, I'm the history guy. I'm going to give y'all the history of George Preston Marshall and several other little history lessons so you guys can kind of understand certain things about Washington and the fact of what had happened in Washington. So George Preston Marshall was the last owner that refused to integrate his NFL team, which was the Washington Redskins. He also sat up there and was so nasty to the people of DC, which at the time was actually a practically fully black city. So he really didn't want to integrate the teams and stuff like that. He always had this thing where he would try to draft players from Southern schools, so draft white players from Southern schools, so they all kind of had the same mentality that he had when it came to integration and things like that. He started a foundation that was for kids of DC, but there was a stipulation in the foundation was that it couldn't go, none of the money could go to racial integration and things like that. So George Preston Marshall was a very awful owner. But he wasn't the only one in the history of Washington, D.C. Calvin Griffin, the guy who actually owned, who was the founder of the Minnesota Twins, was actually the initial owner for the Washington Senators, who also played at RFK Stadium, which at the time was, I think it was Griffin Stadium at first, before he moved, and then it became DC Stadium and stuff like that. So we actually had two racist owners in DC at the same time. So it was just one of those things where the statue had to be removed. It's gone. I remember when I was a kid and I used to say the same thing. Why is there a statue erected for an owner who didn't even want to integrate black players? For years I've always talked to older residents of DC and people who also are Skins fans. A lot of people, the reason the Washington DC area has such a massive collection of Dallas Cowboy fans is because of this guy. This guy is the reason that you have such a massive amount of Dallas Cowboys fans in Washington, D.C. because the Redskins refused to integrate, and the Cowboys was one of the only teams that had not one but multiple black players on their team at the time. And this guy was basically the exact reason why everybody hated the Redskins, but not only that, why the Redskins name became such a big deal. Because even back then, they talked about the fact that this racist man who refuses to integrate his own team with black players also named his team a derogatory term after Native Americans. Now, again, my personal opinion, I don't think that a lot of native people of America actually sit up there and think that Redskin is really a derogatory term, but they say that there are people that do. I mean, it's not like a lot of other things. But again, like I said, George Preston Marshall is the reason for that. The very crazy part about this is that his statue was erected later. And the sad thing about it is that I think because from my remembrance of what I was told from the stories of the older people that lived around DC, Jack Kent Cooke was actually the one who erected the Preston Marshall statue, if I'm correct, because I think it has something to do with him getting a owner stake, a share in the ownership, which was the agreement that he had to erect the statue. So I mean, that right there was kind of like disappointing, but we all know that Jack Kent Cooke wasn't a racist owner, but he wasn't also a guy who was, he passed on Bobby Mitchell being, Bobby Mitchell could have been the first black general manager in the NFL. He passed on him. He also passed on Charlie Brown being the first black general manager as well. So he had an opportunity to actually change the landscape of what black general managers would be if he hired Bobby Mitchell or if he hired Charlie Brown. So he didn't do that, and like I said, Jack wasn't a bad guy, but you know, he didn't do the right thing as well. And now we got Dan Snyder. So it's like, you know, even though he hasn't shown a knack for being prejudiced or racist or anything of that such nature, his hiring doesn't help either, because again, he's another owner who had the opportunity to hire Charlie Brown as the general manager. Instead, he went with Vinny Serrato. We know what disaster that turned out to be. But hey, it is what it is. But I'm going to say this. I'm glad that the George Preston Marshall statue is gone. As a kid going to RFK Stadium, I always felt it should have never been there. I remember throwing rocks at it as a kid. I remember me and a lot of my friends just throwing rocks at it because it was just, hey, throw some rocks at this thing because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the fact that we were basically had a memorial to a guy who didn't even want, I mean, the guy died, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he didn't really want black people in the stadium while the team was playing. So it's one of those long, sad stories of Washington, D.C. sports, because like I said again, you're talking about, we had Calvin Griffin, who they just tore down his statue in Minnesota, but he was initially an owner of the Washington Senators. Now, a lot of y'all may not know this, but the DC team, the DC city has had 3 different baseball teams. The Minnesota Twins was the first Washington Senators. The Texas Rangers is the second Washington Senators team. And of course now we got the Nationals, who used to be the Montreal Expos. So like I said again, you know, we do have a bad history in Washington, D.C. when it comes to that. Again, like I said, George Preston Marshall is the reason why we have such a massive collection of Dallas Cowboy fans in the DC area. I mean, we make the joke all the time. How you a Cowboys fan and you ain't never been to Dallas? You know, a lot of this stems from George Preston Marshall not integrating the team. And black people were just like, well, hell, we'll go ahead and cheer for their rivals. So that's where you get a lot of, also you get, we actually got a big amount of Giants fans here as well, and they're not from New York. We got some Eagles fans here and there, but our biggest group is the Dallas Cowboy fans. They're almost just as big of a group here in Washington, D.C. as the Redskins fans that are here in Washington, D.C. But glad it's gone. I'm going to be coming to y'all every day this week, because I'm going to break down a lot of the stuff going on with the Redskins, possible things in the future for the Redskins, and at the same time, what is going to be the state of football. We basically don't know what's going to happen right now, but again, I'm just glad to be back. I know y'all glad that I'm back, and your man is here. This has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.